Oh, hey there, Matt Griffith with Places to Go. I'm headed to the airport and I'm gonna show you the things that I do when I'm at the airport that are great tips that should make your travels 1,000% better. Come on, let's go. So if you use a kiosk to check in, a lot of times if your bag's a little overweight, a lot of times you can get it to slide by going ahead and getting your baggage tag here and putting it on. A lot of times they'll just ignore if it's a little over. So this is the best way to always check in, and it's faster. Some of these lines get really long. If you're flying somewhere and you use an iPhone, you can text somebody your flight number, just the flight number, not the confirmation or ticket number, just the flight number, which is public information. You can text them that and it will become a link and they can touch it and get your flight information, see whether it's delayed, see where you're at in the sky, the whole details. So it makes it nice if someone's going to pick you up at the airport at your destination. So you're at an airport and you want to know what's inside to eat. You can basically download Google Maps, download the map offline, but as you zoom in, it will start revealing the restaurants that are inside, as well as your location. And again, you can download these maps offline in case you don't have Wi-Fi or cellular service at your destination or at your departure. And you can start zooming in and you'll start seeing the restaurants pop up. So you know where you want to go eat, pharmacies, things like that. Oh, look, there's a sushi place. Wonder if that's any good. Oh, there's a crepes and waffles. Let's go. So if your bag's a little overweight, a lot of times you can check in with the kiosk, get your baggage tag, and because you've done it here instead of up there, a lot of times they'll let you slide by with it being a little overweight. But regardless, this is still the best way to check in because this one typically has no lines or very short lines where the lines can be really long at the ticket counter. So I have a really bad seat on this flight. And another pro tip for you is if you're really nice, dressed kind of nice, you don't have to be in a suit coat, but just nice. One thing that I like to do when I'm at the airport is I'll go up and flirt with the ladies at the counter and just joke with them. Gotta think that I would say probably 70-80% of the clients they deal with are usually frustrated, upset, and it's a refresher for them to see somebody happy and flirting or just joking with them, making them laugh. And so if you do that, then you can say, hey, is there any chance that there's a seat available on the emergency exit row? I'm a good candidate for that, and that's my poor man's first class. And a lot of times they'll laugh at that comment. So if you're flying on a real airline, and I mean real by not saying Spirit or Frontier or one of those airlines that nickels and dimes you for everything, if you have, say, 2 or 3 bags, sometimes you can get out of a baggage fee by when someone's dropping you off at the airport, you can ask them to wait, keep the 1 or 2 extra bags you have in the car, and from there, just bring 1 bag in, check in, and while you're checking in, most airlines want to check bags at the gate. So while you're at the ticket counter, you can show that you have a carry-on size bag and say, hey, you always want to courtesy check these at the gate for extra space. If you want to do that now, you can. And they almost always say yes. And it's basically free when you do it that way. So what you do is after you check it in, you get your ticket, you walk back out to the car and get your 1 extra bag that you had, or 2, okay? And I'm gonna tell you how to do 2. So if you have 1, you just simply go through security. If you have 2, you still go through security, but when you get to the gate, you let them see the 1 bag and ask if they want to courtesy check it. And they'll almost always courtesy check it free of charge. So here's the deal. If they don't, you are gonna have to pay for them anyway. But this could potentially get you out of $40 or $50 a bag. So that's a great savings. So you got you a TSA lock. And that lets TSA basically get into your bag if they need to inspect it. But basically there are 7 TSA master keys labeled 001 to 007, and your lock will actually have the number of which key is on it. And that prevents them from having to cut open a master lock or something if you basically have some other non-TSA lock. However, because there's only 7 keys, you can find those keys sometimes on eBay and places like that. And so that means that somebody else can get in your bag as well. So a recommendation is there are TSA locks that have a little indicator that basically pops up when your bag has been, or basically the lock has been unlocked by someone other than you. So always take a photo of your suitcase in case it gets lost. You can show the claim department what the suitcase looks like. So that's another pro tip. Okay, so you've just landed in a foreign country and you need to get money. Where do you get it? Not from here, from an ATM. It's the cheapest way to get money. So you've just landed in a foreign country and you need money. Don't use a currency exchange place, use the ATM. Basically, money exchange places have terrible currency conversions. You basically lose money. This will give you the best currency conversion available. So one thing to remember, before you come to the airport, make sure that you download the movies or whatever your entertainment that you want to watch, whether it be from Amazon Prime, Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, whatever the case may be, so that you did it on your own Wi-Fi, because the airport Wi-Fi usually sucks. And you might find a little bit better Wi-Fi in a lounge. So when you go to the airport, you might want to jump on their Wi-Fi, especially if it's free. But a lot of times there can be people who have set up a Wi-Fi addresses that look like they're the official airport address, when in fact they're not. They're somebody with a laptop. I always travel with an Apple key tag and a tile in every bag that I have. So if I have a backpack, there's one in there, there's a set in there. If I have a suitcase, there's a set in there. And this lets me track my luggage wherever it's at. And you might ask, well, why don't I just do one or the other? Well, the problem is, depending on where you're at in the world, basically Apple phones are everywhere. These work using other people's Apple phones. The tile is trackable by 2 different apps. So those apps are available on Apple phones as well as Android. And between the 2, you're guaranteed to be able to track your bag, or almost guaranteed. But the tile also has a little bit of extra benefit over the Apple key tag, in that the tile, especially to get the Pro one, has a range of about 300 feet or 100 meters. With that range, you can usually detect your suitcase on the belly of the plane while you're sitting on the seats above. You can also usually detect it coming out of baggage claim about a minute or 2 before it actually comes out. So that's cool too. I always zip my suitcase so that the zipper is at the top. Makes it real easy to reach inside and get something. I've watched so many people zip it where the zippers are at the bottom. Makes it ridiculously difficult to get something out. So just keep your zippers at the top and you can put stuff at the very top like snacks or something for quick access. So you've just landed somewhere and now it's time to get an Uber or a taxi to wherever you're going. Maybe it's your hotel. A pro tip is try to get a hotel that has a free shuttle service, because Ubers and taxis are the most expensive from an airport. Now, I'm not saying to do this, I'm just saying hypothetically you could. Let's say that you want to go to, say, the city center or something, and there is no hotel shuttle service. You could take one of the hotel shuttle services to a nearby hotel so you can get a cheaper Uber or taxi ride. So you've just landed at an airport and it's time to get a taxi. So you're going to have a bunch of people, most likely, depending on where you've landed, start saying taxi, taxi, taxi. And those are not your people. Let me show you. Okay, so you need a taxi, you want the official taxi line. And right here it is.
Caballero, ¿cómo está? ¿Cómo me le va?
Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, sí, señor.
Gracias. When you land at an airport, if you choose to get a taxi, you want to be able to get it from the official taxi line. Otherwise, you can't guarantee you're getting a real taxi. You also want to make sure that they are using the meter so that you're not just being given a price that's out of their head. In Colombia, Ubers are illegal. But they still exist, and people use them all the time, and they're commonly used. However, taxis and Ubers are relatively similarly priced, whereas, sometimes when you're in someplace in the United States, a taxi is more expensive than an Uber. But in Colombia, you can find taxis for about the same price as Ubers, and sometimes they're even a little less, depending on where you're going. Also, whether it's raining. Ubers will definitely be more expensive if it's raining. So when I go to the airport, a lot of times I'll take an Uber just because I can get them to come to my front door. However, you can also take a taxi from the Uber app in Colombia. So, and the only difference there is what the price is going to be because it's a fixed price in the Uber app. When I land in Bogotá and I'm going back to my house, I will basically take a taxi usually because it's just easier, because if you do an Uber, you got to go walk out to the parking lot and go find them. And taxis are just going to be around the same price. So it just is super convenient, and you can get one really fast. So basically that taxi ride was 50,000, which is like $10 or $12. So not much at all. And that's from the airport. And that was a good distance. This was about a 45-minute taxi ride.